Look closely at this. Slashes, brackets, plus signs, and symbols, all stacked into one impossible-looking line. Before we explain a single piece of it, take a guess. What does this pattern actually do? It checks whether a string is a valid email address. Writing that check by hand is brutal. Count the letters, find the @ sign, verify the dot, handle every strange case. Pages of fragile code. This one line quietly replaces all of it. Email is only the beginning. The very same idea validates credit cards, web links, dates, and colors. Almost any shape that text can take. The catch is simple. Right now, that line reads like noise. What are the few building blocks that turn noise into meaning? Here are 4 real patterns we will be able to read by the end. The first matches an email address. The second matches a 16-digit credit card, spaces or no spaces. The third matches a hex color code. The fourth matches a web link. Right now, every one of them looks like a keyboard fell down the stairs. Yet each is built from the same small set of pieces, just repeated and arranged. Learn those pieces, and these stop being puzzles and start being sentences. So what is the very first piece? Let's start with the simplest pattern possible. Plain text. The pattern CAT means find the letter C, then A, then T, sitting right next to each other. Picture a small reading head that slides along the input one position at a time, checking whether the characters underneath it line up. Wherever they all agree, it reports a match. Everything in regular expressions grows out of this single idea. Matching exact letters is rarely what we want, though. How do we say any character will do here? Meet the first special character, the dot. A dot matches any single character, a letter, a digit, a symbol, almost anything at all. Picture each position in the pattern as a slot, and the dot is a slot that accepts whatever shows up. The pattern C.T happily matches cat, cot, cut, even C7T. The power comes from describing what you allow, not the exact letters you spell. Anything, though, is often far too generous. What if we want to allow only certain characters? Reach for a character class. Square brackets holding a set of allowed characters. Bracket A, E, I, O, U is exactly the set of vowels, and it matches any one of them. Inside the brackets, a dash makes a range, A through Z, or 0 through 9. A caret at the front flips the whole set, meaning anything except these. So a slot is really a membership test. Either a character belongs to the set or it does not. These sets get used constantly, though. Must we spell them out every single time? Thankfully, the common sets have shorthands. \D stands for any digit 0 through 9. \W covers word characters, letters, digits, and the underscore. \S matches white space, spaces, tabs, and new lines. Capitalize the letter and you invert it. \Big D means not a digit. These are simply nicknames for sets you would otherwise type out by hand. Every slot so far still matches just one character, though. How do we handle repetition? Quantifiers control how many times the thing before them is allowed to repeat. A star means 0 or more. A plus means 1 or more. A question mark means 0 or 1. Optional. Curly braces give exact counts, precisely 3, or anywhere between 2 and 4. So, \D plus means 1 or more digits. A whole number, however long it runs. The slot stops describing a single character and starts describing a stretch of them. A match can still appear anywhere, though. How do we pin it to a place? Anchors match a position, not a character. The caret means the start of the line. The $sign means the end of the line. \B marks a word boundary, the invisible edge between a word and a non-word. These match nothing you can see. They have zero width. They simply assert where you are. Anchoring a pattern to the start forces the match to begin there, instead of floating somewhere in the middle. We can match sets, repeats, and positions now. What about choices between whole alternatives? Parentheses gather a piece of the pattern into a single unit, and a vertical bar means or. Open paren, cat bar dog, close paren matches cat or dog. A fork in the road where either branch is allowed to succeed. Wrap a group and a quantifier now applies to the whole thing, not just the last character. So open paren h, a close paren plus matches ha, ha ha, and ha ha ha. Grouping turns tiny patterns into reusable building blocks. Once we have grabbed a group, can we keep what is inside it? Absolutely. Every group also captures. When the pattern matches, each pair of parentheses remembers the exact text it caught, numbered 1, 2, 3 from left to right. Later, you can pull those pieces back out. The year, the area code, the username. You can even refer to a group inside the pattern itself with \1, demanding that the very same text appear again. Matching only tells you that something fits. Capturing hands you the parts. Repetition still hides a subtle trap though. How much does a star truly grab? By default, quantifiers are greedy. They grab as much as they possibly can. A dot star between two quotes will stretch all the way to the very last quote on the line, swallowing everything in between. Add a question mark, making it dot star question mark, and it turns lazy, taking as little as possible instead. Same pattern, opposite appetite. This one tiny difference is behind a huge share of real regex bugs. If greed can overreach like that, what is the engine doing underneath? Underneath, the engine is exploring. At every step, it tries one path, and when a path fails, it backtracks and tries another, like walking a maze and retreating from each dead end. Most of the time, this is completely invisible and instant. But certain patterns, fed the wrong input, explode into millions of paths, and a single line of text can freeze an entire server. People call it catastrophic backtracking. Knowing the machine is really there is what keeps your pattern safe. Can we finally read that line from the very beginning? Let's put the email pattern to the test, character by character. Two real addresses sail straight through. Every piece lines up, so the scan glows green. Then come two imposters. The first hides a space where the name should flow, and the head stops red the instant it lands on it. The second opens with the @ sign and no name at all, rejected on the very first character. Two strings belong to the set. Two clearly do not. What about something much longer, like a credit card? A credit card is really just 16 digits, with optional spaces between the groups. Watch it judge 4 of them. A fully spaced number passes. 4 neat groups of 4, all green. The very same digits with no spaces survive too. Still green. Then the failures. One swaps a space for a dash, and a dash was never allowed, so the scan holds red. The other slips a stray letter in among the digits, and it breaks the moment the head arrives. The right shape belongs. Everything else is turned away. The web is full of links though. Can the same idea read a web address? Web links follow a strict shape as well. The pattern wants HTTP, an optional S, then a colon and 2 slashes, then the address. 2 proper links pass clean and green. Then the rejects. One begins with FTP instead, so the very first letter is already wrong, and it turns red at once. The other drops a slash, and the scan breaks exactly where the missing slash should be. Only the precise shape of a link gets through. Every pattern that once looked like noise we can now read on site, which leaves just one thing unfinished, the very first line of all. And now, back to exactly where we began. Let's try that very first regex one more time, the one from the opening scene, so we can finally recall what that complex string of symbols actually meant. Here it is again, the line you could not read a few minutes ago. Read it now, slowly, left to right, start of the string. One or more word characters, dots or plus signs. That is the name. An @ sign. Then the domain, word characters and dashes. A single dot. And finally the extension, at least 2 letters. End of the string, it was never noise. It was a precise description of an email address the entire time. I hope you can finally see what that first cryptic message truly meant. Regular expressions, live everywhere text does. Searching through code, validating a form, finding and replacing across 1,000 files, splitting a messy log into clean fields. The secret was never memorizing symbols. It was one shift in thinking. Stop describing how to scan, character by character, and start describing the shape you are looking for. Describe the shape, and the machine finds it for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.